All right, so every time I come to an area that's nice, the thing that they have in common is that there are like no black people around, and I am dead serious about that. And I know that people are not going to like me. You're going to be talking crap about it, whatever. This is the reality of the situation. I'm in Boston for work right now. I'm at the waterfront or seaport or whatever it is. And I was just walking around. It's nice. It obviously looks expensive. There's nice restaurants. Everybody's just chilling, like families. Just everybody is acting normal. And I'm just like, oh my God, there are like no black people here. And when I mean no black people, I mean none. All right. Like I'm the only one that I've seen that's not like some kind of employee, right? And then there are the people that are here from out of town for the conference that I'm here for. And it really does remind me, like it makes me think of, well, why is Miami Beach so chill? Why is Miami Beach so quiet? Again, there are no black people. And I'm not saying, but I'm just saying this is something that I have observed in the places where people are calm, people are chill. There's just a sense of community. Everybody's just vibing. It's really, really cool. Every time I have that experience, there are either zero black people or a bare minimum of black people. You can do with that what you want to.
Now, I know that's going to trigger a lot of people, okay? And I sat there and I really thought about what he was saying, and I really tried to understand his point of view. Now, let me just give context. So I live in Atlanta. Okay, I've been in Atlanta for the last 5 years, and I feel like there's two extremes to black people, right? I don't agree with what he said. Okay, I don't agree with what he said on a surface level, but living in Atlanta, I feel like black culture has been diminished to, you can't go to a restaurant without it having an R&B night. In Atlanta, it's R&B night, hookah, oxtails, and R&B night, hookah, oxtails is like the black people starter kit. And that's essentially what black culture has been diminished to in Atlanta, right? To where I had to sit back and think, like, do I even want to be at any of the spots, right? We have a museum called a High Museum. Why is there like a turnt Sunday? It's like every single place in Atlanta has something turnt, something that's supposed to be quote unquote for black culture. But it seems as if to me that black culture has to be like infiltrated into everything, right? Especially living here. And I feel like black culture is much more than that. I get that we've, kind of popularized a lot of things, but I would love to go to a restaurant, Italian restaurant owned by black people, and it's just some chill. It's just chill. It's a little work study area. They don't have security at the front door trying to check people. They don't have, different things. They don't have sections that they're selling at a library or something now. You know what I'm saying? Like, it just feels like the black business starter kit always has a security, has sections, oxtail, R&B night, hookah. Just speaking from experience, going to these places, you do see majority of black people at those places because they feel like they're comfortable there. So I can kind of understand what he's saying from that, right? Because if you're going to Italy, you're going to these different places. My only issue is you run into people like him who think they're better than other black people, right? And those are the worst kind of black people, in my opinion, right? You got people who get rowdy. They might go to Miami Beach and try to be a nuisance to the society. But people like him are also the other parallel of black people that are also terrible, right? People who think they better than everybody else. They're like, oh, well, I'm not that type of black guy. I'm a different black guy, right? Just taking the premise of what he said, right? Me living in Atlanta, right? They call this the Black Mecca, okay? I like going to the Beltline. I like going places where it might be a lot of black people, it might not, but it's not black infiltrated as far as our culture has to be put into everything, or, you can just enjoy something for what it is. You don't have to infiltrate the heritage with black culture. And that's what I think he's essentially saying. And I agree with that, right? I want to go to an Italian restaurant and they're just playing soft jazz music, right? And then we're eating regular and things are just peaceful, right? I don't want to have to hear Alicia Keys over the airways and, get checked down for security at an Italian spot. You know what I'm saying? It's like those things I can understand from what he's saying. I think he's making it seem as if like having a lot of black people means that the areas or the time is going to be bad, or it's not going to be a good peaceful moment, which I don't agree with. I don't agree with that at all. But just going off the premise of what he's saying, right? Going off the premise of what he's saying, you know, I'm not going to lie, bro. Like, I do think that there are different people with different personalities. I think I know I got a lot of friends that live here in Atlanta, and a lot of them, you know, they like, oh man, you know, they got mimosa night at this club and that club and this club and that club. And it's like, that's all they do is club, and hookah got to be involved and drinks got to be involved. And it seems as if those are just meant for those type of people. Okay. But I don't think there is any correlation to do with the actual skin color. You know what I'm saying? Because there's plenty of black people. You know, I grew up in Jack and Jill. So I know that there's affluent black people that don't really do all of that all the time and go to these peaceful areas and go to Boston, live in Boston and do things like that. But I would say that just as detrimental as it is to have a bunch of rowdy black people somewhere, it is to have people like him, which is just people who feel like, I'm not your black, I'm a different type of black. But at the end of the day, I do see where he's coming from as far as, you know, it seems as if the best places to go don't have the majority of black. I do believe that, because it seems like when there are majority of black, it seems like they try to cater to what typical black people might like, right? When you go to Houston, when you go to Atlanta, it seems like they cater to what they feel like majority of black people like, which is clubbing, hookah, and all this different stuff. And I would love to know what y'all think about that, man. It's a hefty topic. It's a hefty topic. Not all the nicest areas have no black people. That's a crazy statement, but it's not all the way wrong.